Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. Today, inshallah, we will study a new lesson. The new lesson is congruence. Let's remember together what we studied in the last session, which is the relation between angles. And we say that we have relation between the angles, like we can say that the two angles are complementary angles if the sum of their measure is 90 degrees. And we can say that the two angles are supplementary angles if the sum of its measures is 180 degree and the accumulated angles at point equals 360 degree. And we say that if we have two straight lines intersect, then we can say that the vertically opposite angles are equal in measure. Today, inshallah, we will study congruence. In this lesson, we will study how to know that the two lines are congruent, line segments are congruent, and recognize the congruence of the two angles and recognize the congruence of two polygons. Let's make a quick revision about what we studied in the last session. The sum of measure of the accumulative angles at a point equals what? 360 degree. And if measure question 2, if measure of angle A equals 90 degree, then the reflex angle of A equal what? We say that we have different types of the angles, like acute angle, obtuse angle, right angle, straight angle, flex angle, and each type has a measure, a different measure. And we say that any angle plus its reflex equals 360 degree. So if angle A equals 90 degree, so the reflex of A will be 360 degree minus sigma minus 90 degree equals 270 degree. The angle whose measure, letter C, the angle whose measure 40 complements to angle of measure what? The angle of measure whose measure is 40 degree. We say the two angles are complementary angles if their sum is 90 degree. So if one of them is 40 degree, the other will be 50 degree. 90 minus 40 equals 50 degree. Letter D. Each two vertically opposite angles are equal in measure. First part in our lesson is the congruence of the two line segments. We can say that the two line segments are congruent if they are equal in length. If they are equal in length. As we say, we have a line segment, as we see, we have two line segments, A, B, and C, D. And the line segment AB 5 centimeter and CD is also 5 centimeter. They have equal length. They have equal length, so the two line segments are congruent. And vice versa. If AB equals CD, or the length of AB equals the length of CD, then AB line segment congruent to CD line segment. And if the two line segments are congruent, then the two line segments have the same measure. Congruent of two angles. We can say that the two angles are congruent if they are equal in measure. Pay attention. The two line segments are equal in length, but the two angles are equal in measure. Two angles, angle B and angle Y. Angle CBA equals 60 degree and the angle ZYX equals 60 degree. So the two angles have the same measure. So the two angles we can say that the two angles are congruent. The two angles are congruent if they are equal in measure, and vice versa. If the two angles are equal in measure, then the two angles are congruent. Congruent of the two polygons. If we have two polygons, polygon ADCB and XL Z, Y. The two polygons are congruent if their corresponding sides are equal in length. Corresponding sides are equal in length and their corresponding angles are equal in measure. As you see in the two polygons, AD equal XL, corresponding sides equal in length, and DC equals LZ equal in length, and CB equals ZY, and AB equals X. Y, and all angles are equal in measure. Angle D equal angle L, angle C equal angle Z, and angle B equal angle Y, and angle A equal angle X. So we can say that the two polygons are congruent if their corresponding sides are equal in length and their corresponding angles are equal in measure. All sides are all sides in the first polygon are congruent to the corresponding parts in the second polygon, and all angles in the first polygon are congruent to the corresponding parts in the second polygon. So we can say that the two polygons are congruent. And also, if we say that the two polygons are congruent, then angle D equal angle L, and angle C and equal angle Z, and angle B equal angle Y, and angle A equal X equal angle X. So we can find any missing angle. We can find any missed angle by using a congruent. If we have angle D with measure like 60 degree, so angle L will be also 60 degree because the two polygons are congruent, and the angle D is the corresponding angle of L, so angle D is 60 degree and angle L will be equals also 60 degree. And we can find the length of any side or any missing side. If we have AB with 6 centimeter, so XY will be also 6 centimeter. But if the two polygons are congruent, it's a very important condition. With the two polygons congruent, so AP equal XY. The sides is AB equal XY and BC equal YZ and CD equal ZL and ABAD equals XL. And the angles, angle A equal angle X, angle B equal angle Y, and angle C equal angle Z, and congruent to angle Z, and measure of angle D congruent to measure of angle L. Important remarks. We should write the two polygons in the same order of their corresponding vertices. As we say in the last example, in the previous example, we said the letters by order of the corresponding vertices. So if we start writing congruent, we have two triangles, triangle BAC and YXZ. To find the corresponding parts, write the two polygons with in the same order of their corresponding vertices, B, A, C. So the next polygon will be Y, X, Z. If we start from C, we can start from C. So the polygon will be C, A, B. So the another polygon also will be Z, X, Y. So So we should write the two polygons with the same order of their corresponding vertices. And it's very important remark. B, C, D, B, C, D. So the other polygon will be what? Huh? Y, Z, Y, Z, X. Or C, A, B. So the next polygon will be Z, X, Y. Let's see an example. In the update figure, we have two polygons, two intersect polygons. Polygon A, B, C, D. Congruent to the sign of the congruent. First polygon is A, B, C, D. First polygon is congruent to, and this is the sign of the congruent, the polygon of O, L, C, E. Second polygon. Complete. AB equal what? If the two polygons, we say, if the two polygons are congruent, then the the side, the length of the side will be equal another corresponding side in the other polygon. So to find the side which congruent to AB, look to the name of the two polygons. Don't see the two polygons. Don't look to the two polygons. Look to the name of the two polygons. A, B will congruent to first letter and second letter. So take the first letter and the second letter of the second polygon. So A, B will congruent to O, L. So A, B equal in length O, L. Next one, B, C equals what? B, C. Second letter and third letter. So the line segment which the line segment which congruent to BC will be also second letter and third letter. L, C. So BC equal in length LC. Next one, CD equals what? CD. Third letter and fourth letter. We will take in the second polygon third letter and fourth letter, CE. So CD equal in length CE. The two sides polygon congruent, so the length of the two sides are equal. AD congruent to what? First letter and the last letter. So take the first letter and the last letter. OE. Measure of angle A equal measure of angle what? Measure of angle A is the first letter. So angle A will be congruent to angle O. So angle A equal and measure angle O. Measure of angle B equal measure of angle what? Measure of angle B equal measure of angle second letter, take the second letter of the second polygon, equal measure of angle L. D, fourth letter, take the fourth letter of the second polygon, will equal to angle E. Super excellent. Angle D will equal and measure angle E. and the angle BCD. BCD. Second, third, fourth. Take second, third, fourth. LCE. So easy. So today we have studied the congruent of the two polygons, and we say, or and the congruent of the two line segments and the congruent of the two angles. And we say that the two line segments are congruent if the two line segments are equal in length. The two line segments are congruent if they are equal in length, and vice versa. The two line segments, if the two line segments are equal in length, then the two line segments are congruent. And we say that the two angles are congruent if they are equal in measure, and vice versa. If the two angles are equal in measure, if the two angles are congruent. And we studied the congruence of the two polygons, and we say that the two polygons are congruent if their corresponding sides are equal in length and their corresponding angles are equal in measure. The two polygons are congruent if the two polygons are congruent if their corresponding sides are equal in length and their corresponding angles are equal in measure. All sides in the first polygon are congruent to the corresponding parts in the second polygon, and all angles in the first polygon are congruent to the corresponding angles in the second polygon. And don't forget to write the two polygons in the same order. And we see in the example, it was very important. We find our, and we find the parts which congruent from the name of the two polygons. So our results is it depends to the name of the two polygons. So don't forget to write the two polygons in the same order of their corresponding vertices. In the next session, we will complete the congruent, and we will take the congruent of the two triangles. And see you in the next session, and thank you for listening.